Hello students, today we are going to discuss about two important phylum that include platyhelminths. First of all, let me start with the phylum Platyhelminth. Okay, let me discuss about general characteristic of phylum Platyhelminths. So let me see here a grade of organization will be organ in organ system level of organization. Okay, so here body will be having organ and organ system level of organization. And here you can see two examples which included into this phylum. This is a photograph of a tapeworm, and here you can see a planaria. Okay, and next is a symmetry. So here you will observe bilateral type of symmetry. Okay, if you draw line in between a middle axis, you will get two equal parts. Okay, that's why here we can say that symmetry is a bilateral symmetry. Next feature is a germinal layer. Here these animals show you a triploblastic type of a germinal layer. Okay, that means three germinal layer which include ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. You know very well what is the three germinal layer structures. Okay, and that animal which include in the three germinal layer that show three germinal layer is called triploblastic animals. Okay, so here you will observe three germinal layer, and that's why these animals are triploblastic animals, which is including ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Next is a coelom. Okay, so here you will observe no coelom, means you cannot observe here a coelom, and that's why these animals are considered as a acoelomate animals. Okay, so here you can see this is the gut, endoderm. Okay, this is mesenchymal tissues. Okay, muscle layer and ectoderm. Okay, there is a no space in between gut wall and body wall, and that's why here a coelom is absent, no coelom is there. Okay, and that's why these animals are included as a acoelomate. Next, let me discuss about habit and habitat. Okay, so here these group of animals are mainly aquatic. Okay, mostly they are aquatic and endoparasite. Okay, and some of them will be free living. So they may be aquatic, endoparasite, may they be means they may be live inside the organisms. Okay, endo means inside and act as a parasite, live for the food on the other animals, and that's why this habit is called endoparasitic habit. Okay, so here you can see tapeworm. It is the parasite for the human. This is a liver fluk. It is also parasite in the human. Endoparasite in the human. This is also endoparasite in the human. Okay, and some are free living. Here you can see free living planaria. Okay, and next here let me discuss about digestive system of this phylum Platyhelminth. So here incomplete digestive system will be there. Okay, so you know very well what is an incomplete digestive system. In this type of digestive system, only one opening will be there, which will act as a mouth as well as anus. Okay, so here you will observe incomplete digestive system. Here, that this is the opening. Okay, here you can see this is the planaria. Okay, and here you can observe here this one, this opening will act as a mouth as well as anus. So for both the purpose, there is only one opening, and such a type of a digestive system is considered as an incomplete digestive system. Okay, and next is the circulatory system. Here circulatory system is totally absent. So now let me discuss about reproduction in this phylum. So here you will observe asexual means of reproduction, and especially that is from the fragmentation. You know very well what is a fragmentation. Let me understand here. Okay, so here you will see here this photograph show you a planaria. Okay, which show you a fragmentation method of a reproduction, and that is a one kind of asexual method of a reproduction. Okay, so here fragmentation in planaria. Planaria has a high regeneration capacity. Okay, so here you can see if you cut down this planaria into pieces, then these parts will be regenerated. Okay, they have the ability to regenerate their parts. Okay, so that's why here you can see this portion will act as an individual organism. This portion is also acting as an individual organism. This also acting as an individual organism. So if you cut down it into three pieces, then three organism will be individual will be formed. Okay, so by this we can say there is a fragmentation. By using fragmentation method, this asexual reproduction will occur. Next also they will show you sexual type of reproduction, but before that here you can see this photograph. Okay, that show you this is the planaria. If you cut down into pieces, then each pieces will act as an individual organism, newborn organisms. Okay, and here these organisms are hermaphrodite. You know very well this terminology. What is a hermaphrodite? That means male and female, both sexes are not separate. Okay, so here this is not male or female. Okay, because here male related sex organs and female related sex organ, both are present in a single individual. Okay, that's why here these animals are hermaphrodite. Okay, and here internal fertilization will be observed, then development is indirect. Okay, and many larval stages. Okay, so here it will pass from many larval stages up to the maturation. Okay, and here you can see inside the organism internal structures in the organism. This is a photograph of planaria, an internal structure of the organism. This is the ovary, that is a female related sex organs. Okay, this is the testis. Okay, that is a male related sex organ, and you can understand both related organism means all sex related organs are present in a single organism, whether it is male related or a female related. Okay, so here this organism is a hermaphrodite. There is a no difference between male and female. We discuss about some unique feature of this phylum. So here you will observe unsegmented body. Okay, so whole body will be not segmented. Okay, and here dorsoventrally flattened body, that means flat body is there, that is from the dorsoventral side. This is the dorsal side and this is the ventral side. So dorsiventral flat bodies. Okay, except in case of a tapeworm. Next feature, excretion will be done with the help of phloem cell. There is a different, very special kind of cells are present, and there is also called protonephridia. And here you can see the diagram of a phloem cell. Okay, that will act as an excretory organ in this kind of organisms. Okay, so here you can see this cell structure. Okay, this is considered as a phloem cell, and that will act as a protonephridia. Okay, which will act as a excretory organ. Okay, so here you can see excretory canal is there. Okay, which we can magnify this structure. Okay, one pore is there. Finally it will remove out of the body. Okay, then here a tubules, phloem cells, nucleus, here you can see. Okay, so by this way this is a whole structure which is utilized during the excretory process. Okay, next is a unique feature, is a unique, that is very unique to the organism, which will help in the parasitic activity, and this is the hooks and suckers. So here you can see this is the hooks. Okay, and this one is the suckers. So these both structures are very important during the parasitic form. Okay, so this will help during the parasitic activity. Some absorb nutrient, means these out of these two, some will absorb nutrient from the host through their body surface. As I told you, parasitic activity will be inside other organism. Okay, inside the other organism's body. So by using these hooks and suckers, they will utilize these for the absorption of the nutrient from the. So now let me conclude with the examples, and you have to remember each and every examples of each and every phylums. Okay, this is very important during NEET examination as well as for the board examination. So this is very important for you to know examples. Okay, so here this is a photograph which shows you Tinea solium. In general we are calling it as a tapeworm, and there is also called as a port tapeworm. Okay, and here this is the photograph of a fasciola, that is in general we are calling it as a liver flug. Okay, and this is the photograph of a planaria. So now let me quickly summarize whole phylum. So let me start with the grade of organization. So here grade of organization is organ and organ system level of organization. Next is a symmetry. So you will observe bilateral symmetry here. Germ layer will be diploblastic. Then here coelom will be acoelomate. Habit and habitat, mainly they are found in the aquatic environment. They are endoparasitic, some are free living. Okay, then here digestive system will be incomplete, and both respiratory system as well as circulatory system both are absent. Okay, reproduction here by means of asexual, especially with the help of a fragmentation, and even they are showing you sexual reproduction. They are hermaphrodite. Here internal fertilization will be observed. The development will be indirect. Okay, and many larval stage will be observed during the maturation. Then unique feature here is unsegmented body, then dorsoventrally flattened body, and that's why they are here this dorsoventrally flattened body they possess, right? And that's why they are considered as a platyhelminths. Platy means flat. Okay, that is a dorsiventrally flat, and that's why they are considered as a platyhelminths. Okay, so here dorsoventrally flattened body is there except tapeworm, and excretion will be with the help of a phloem cell, and that is also considered as a protonephridia. Here parasite will have hooks and suckers. Some will absorb by nutrients by using these hooks and sucker from the host through their body surfaces. An example include Tinea solium, fasciola, that is also called as a liver flug, and finally planaria. Next phylum is a Aschelminth, and that is also considered as a roundworm. Okay, because their body is not flat, they will be having a round shaped body. Okay, and that's why they are considered as a roundworm, and generally they are known as a Aschelminths. Okay, let me discuss about general features and general characteristic of this phylum. So here grade of organization will be organ system level of organization. Okay, and here you see the photograph. Okay, this is a photograph of hookworm. That is one example of a phylum Aschelminth. Here Ascaris is there. Okay, and next is a symmetry. Okay, so here you will observe bilateral symmetry. Okay, so here you can see this. Okay, if you draw line in between middle axis, then you will see both parts will be equal, and that's why they are considered as a bilateral symmetry. Okay, this is the example filarial worm. Okay, here you can see loa worm that will be found in the eye. Here you can see this is the eye. Okay, inside which there is a loa worm. Okay, this is very dangerous disease. Okay, then next is a germinal layer, and here you will observe triploblastic germinal layer. Okay, you know very well what is a triploblastic germinal layer. Outermost will be ectoderm, middle one will be mesoderm, and innermost will be endoderm. So by using three layer, there is a layer inside this. Okay, and that's why here Aschelminth will show you germinal layers, which is three. Okay, and that's why these organisms are considered as a triploblastic. Okay, and here you can see the photograph of a Antovaris, okay, vermicularis, and that is also called, generally it is called pinworm. So here you can see the photograph how they are looking like in the microscope. Next, coelom. Here pseudocoelomate is there, means that is a full coelom like structure is present. Okay, so here you can see this is the gut, endoderm, pseudocele means here a bag like structure will be found in between. There is a no true coelom here. Okay, so here it is written true coelom, means pseudocoelom, means true coelom is absent, and that's why here written pseudocele is present. Okay, and that's why they are considered pseudocoelomate. Okay, here a full coelom is there, that's why they are considered as a pseudocoelomate. Okay, then here you can see internal organs, ectoderm, pseudocoelomate structure. Okay, so here these organisms are the only group of organisms which having pseudocoelomate. So you have to remember the characteristic. Next, habit and habitat. Here aquatic and terrestrial, both as well as both type of habitat you can observe with them. Okay, so aquatic as well as terrestrial habitat you will observe them. Then here free living to parasitic in the plants and animal both. Okay, they are observed as a free living organism. Here you can see free living organism, and even they are shown as a parasitic in plants as well as in the animals. So here in this phylum, digestive system will be complete. That means it has both mouth and anus. Here you can see this one end of the organism will have mouth. Okay, this is responsible for food gathering, and here one anus is there, that is another opening, means both sides opening will be there, having different characteristic. Okay, this will act as a food gathering purpose, and this will act as a excretory product release. Okay, so here mouth is there and anus is there. That means these organism will show you complete digestive system. Here, tubular alimentary canal with well-developed muscular pharynx will be observed. Here you can see this is the pharynx. Okay, so well-developed pharynx will be there, and that is well-developed muscular pharynx. Then here you can observe intestine, pseudocoelom, okay, cuticle outside the body. Then here ovary is there. Okay, then here reproductive pore is also present. Then excretory pore is also there. Okay, then nerve ring. Here you can observe as a nervous system. Okay, and this whole structure will be found in the organism. So here you will observe complete type of digestive system. Next, here you should remember the respiratory system here is totally absent. Next, circulatory system is also totally absent. Okay, and let me describe. So here you will observe sexes are separate. Okay, that means these organisms are dioecious. Okay, so if male and female both are different, okay, male is different, female is different, then such an organism is considered as a dioecious. That means sexes are separate. So you should remember when this terminology must be used. So dioecious means what? Male and female both are different. Here you will observe sexual reproduction of a means. Okay, then internal fertilization will be observed. Development will be direct or indirect. Okay, so here you will now let me discuss about some unique feature of this phylum. So here body is a circular. Okay, if you cut down in the cross section, then you will observe circular body. Okay, this is a unique feature, and that's why sometimes this phylum is also considered as a roundworms. Okay, then here syncytial type of epidermis will be found. What is the meaning of syncytial? That means multinucleated. What is the meaning of multinucleated? Means one cell will have more than one nucleus. Okay, so here epidermis cell will have syncytium type of cells. Okay, that means multinucleated cells. And here you will observe thick cuticle outside the body wall. Okay, so here suppose this is the body wall. Okay, and this one is the cuticle layer which will protect the organism from the outer environment. Okay, this is a unique feature of this organism. So here you can see gut, there is endoderm, pseudocell, muscles, okay, then internal organs, then ectoderm, and outermost here you will observe cuticle layer which will protect from the external environment. Next unique feature is an external tube to remove body waste through excretory pores. So here you will observe some excretory tubes. Okay, this one is the excretory tubes here. Okay, these are responsible as will act as the excretory system. Okay, so here this is the unique feature of these organisms. Next unique feature here shows the sexual dimorphism. Okay, so these animals will show you sexual dimorphism. That means what? It is the morphological differences. Okay, means external differences between male and female. From the outside only you will observe. If you observe these animals, okay, then you will definitely get the idea whether this is male or female. Okay, most important feature in these characteristic is the female are more longer than the male. That's why you will get the idea this one is a female and this one is the male, and such a phenomena is called dimorphism. Okay, so it will show you sexual dimorphism. This means we can externally identify the organism whether it is male or a female. Okay, female are longer than the male, and this we can identify easily from the male and females. Now next is the examples. So here you can see some examples. Ascaris, and that is responsible for the Ascariasis disease in the human because they are endoparasite in the human. Okay, so here you can identify male and female both because here the sexual dimorphism is there. Female is more longer than the male. Okay, and here this Ascariasis, this Ascaris or this type of organism also called as a roundworm. Okay, and here you can see this is a hookworm. Okay, and cyclostoma that is called, and that is also called in general it is called hookworm. Okay, so scientific name is encyclostoma. Then here you will observe this one is the Vaucheria. Okay, that is a filarial worm, and you know very well elephantitis disease. Okay, this is the elephantitis disease. Okay, and that is a responsible organism for that is a Vaucheria, and that is also named as a filarial worm. So now let me quickly summarize whole phylum, that is Aschelminth phylum. So here grade of organization is the organ system level of organization, symmetry is a bilateral, then germ layer is a triploblastic. Okay, then coelom here is found is a pseudocoelomate, and that's why this organism is considered pseudocoelomate. Okay, and we remember here this is the only phylum which shows pseudocoelomate. Okay, and next is a habitat. So here habitat will be aquatic as well as terrestrial. They will show you a free living and parasitic organism. Then here a digestive system will be complete, respiratory as well as circulatory, both the system will be totally absent. Then reproduction here is a dioecious, means animals are dioecious and they will show sexual reproduction. Then internal fertilization will be observed. Then development is a direct or a indirect. Then next is a unique features. So here syncytial type of epidermis is there which have more than one nucleus inside the cells. Then thick cuticle will be observed. Then excretory tube to remove body waste from the body, and that is from the excretory pores. Okay, here sexual dimorphism is also observed. Then example include Ascaris, Cyclostomata, and then Buccaria. Okay, so these are the example Ascaris and Cyclostoma and then Vaucheria or a Buccaria. So now let me discuss about some differences and let me compare between platyhelminths and Aschelminths. Okay, and such a question may be asked in board examination in 2 marks. So here some characteristic is listed. Okay, and here a column is given for the platyhelminth and here Aschelminths. Okay, so first of all here form, they are flatworm, and here they are cylindrical, and that's why they are considered, means Aschelminths are cylindrical and that's why they are considered as a roundworm. Okay, and here it is considered as a flatworm because here dorsiventrally flat bodies are there. Here in this case coelom will be in case of a platyhelminth. Here acoelomate is there, but here in case of esculmin there is a pseudocoelomate. Okay, and digestive tract here in case of a platyhelminth, that is the incomplete digestive system, but here complete digestive system will be observed in case of esculmins. Okay, next is the sexuality. Here in case of a platyhelminth, animals are hermaphrodite, male and female both are not different, but here animals are unisexual, that means male and female both are different, that means dioecious type of animal will be observed. So these may be asked in board examination in 2 marks, so you have to prepare this. This is your homework for today's lecture, and before we finish this lecture, let me summarize whole topic by using one animation video. So look at this video.
The next phylum is Platyhelminthes. These animals have a dorso-ventrally flattened body and are therefore called flatworms. They are bilaterally symmetrical, tripoblastic, acoelomate animals with organ level of organization. Flatworms are mostly endoparasites found in the digestive system of animals, including humans. The parasitic members possess hooks and suckers, and some of them use the surface of their body to absorb nutrients directly from the host. Flatworms have specialized cells called flame cells, which help in osmoregulation and excretion. The members are hermaphrodite. Fertilization is internal and development is through many larval stages. Some members, like Planaria, possess high regeneration capacity. Taenia and Fasciola are some common flatworms. The next phylum under non-chordates is Aschelminthes. Unlike flatworms, these animals have a circular body when seen in cross-section, and hence are called roundworms. They may be aquatic or terrestrial, free-living or parasitic in plants and animals. They are bilaterally symmetrical, tripoblastic, pseudocoelomate animals with organ system level of body organization. In Aschelminthes, the alimentary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx. Body wastes are removed through the excretory pore. Roundworms are dioecious, and the females are usually longer than the males. Fertilization is internal, with direct or indirect development. Ascaris and Wuchereria are common members of this phylum. We studied how non-chordates are classified into different phyla on the basis of certain morphological and anatomical features.
In next lecture, we will discuss about 2 important phylum, and that include Annelida and Arthropoda. So till that, goodbye.